Welcome to the podcast. It's J&Lo. This is our third episode. Thank you so much for joining us. It's April 10th. It's a Wednesday, and the world has not come apart at the seams, despite the best efforts of quite a few assholes. So, hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Lo, what do you got to say?
What's going on? Welcome to the pod. Got another episode for you. It's going to be a good one. And I'm excited to talk about some of these topics, catch up with my boy here, man. I'm feeling good on this Wednesday evening.
All right, dude. I mean, shit, I'm happy to be here with you as well. And guess what? We're at the 5 minute mark and we're feeling good. I fucking need to start paying very close attention to the time markers because eventually, I want to put in like information below as to where we talk about what. But this tonight, we're just chilling. I mean, I don't really have a real big set schedule. You saw that script. It's small and concise, sir.
Wine.
I think I want to talk a little bit about like the sunk cost fallacy. It's really important to me. This idea that we get so attached to the stuff that we do, right? That we don't know when to cut ties or when to say, okay, well, we're throwing good money after bad. You know what I mean? Like when do you say, hey, time to cut and run? But also, when you just need to commit for a little bit longer in order to bring something to fruition. So, I think that there's really a deep well on that topic. Can of worms, Sarah. I'm gonna see if this pen still works.
Agreed.
Got a tester every 30 minutes, Sarah.
I got a tester. Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I think I think you definitely got to know, find that good balance, right? Of trying to, I mean, you get these fork in the roads and when to know, hey, let's stop, let's regroup, stop the bleeding. And then when to know, hey, we're right there at the door if we just keep pushing and, find a little extra umph there that you need to inspire you. I think that's a good topic to discuss. I mean, a lot of people are struggling with it nowadays, especially the generation after us, the Z's or the X's or whatever. I feel like us millennials, we kind of had to hunker down and just get her done in ways that kind of gave us, a resilience or a skill set to kind of be even keeled. Where it seems like what I mean, everything around us is burning to pieces. Because I saw this TikTok the other day, and they were talking about the recession, and I'm like, dude, I fucking grew up in a recession, you know what I mean? And that's what this guy's skit was about. He's like, yo, the recession is nothing new to me, you know what I mean? The struggle has always been a part of his journey, but it gave him, the skin to say, hey, not panic, keep your head down, do what feels right, go off the energy. And I think that's a good way to look at things, especially right now. You don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low. You kind of just want to, go with the flow of things right now. That's the vibes I feel like that we're in. You know what I mean? On the timeline.
Most definitely. Fuck. You don't want to step your toe out because it's gonna get scratched. And I understand that mentality and I agree with it. I just think like a big part of it is to living in both worlds. You got to be able to say, all right, I don't want to make too big of a footprint because people are going to notice, and there are too many aggressive personalities, too much assertive energy around to fucking worry about people being on your case. But at the same time, not letting that stop you from living your life and giving people the what for when they need it. It's a difficult line to walk. It's like one of my greatest assets is my anonymity. I'm able to do the things and I'd like to do, be the person I'd like to be, live the life I'd want to live, and no one gives a fuck because I'm nobody, and I enjoy that. I'm everything I need to be. Fuck them. However, sometimes you got to say something, and that's a little bit about what this is about. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. How was your week this week, bro? What'd you get into?
Honestly, I'm just kind of like living. You know, all the goals are in progress. You know, making little milestone steps every now and again. I don't really, I wouldn't really define the week as anything other than you know, on a personal front, just life. It was both good and bad, mostly good. I will say that you know my friends got some great news. They're gonna get certified. Old you know the boys out in Fairmont, and they'll have a child in their home the next 2 weeks.
Dope, like an actual human being child.
That's correct, dude. An actual
Ah, word.
potentially adoptable child, dude.
Well, I think that's beautiful. Are they going to go like newborn or potty trained or what? Because
I
that
think
shit
their
matters.
range is 0 to you know birth to 1 year. 0. Yeah.
Okay, so there'll still be some potty training to do. I mean,
Fuck, you
that's
remember
good.
being 0, bro?
Oh fuck, dude. Life was sweet, dude. I mean, you got all your food fed to you. You know what I mean? You didn't have to wipe your own ass. The beauty,
Yeah,
dude.
and you know if you had an itchy ass, all you had to do was cry. Then take a wipe to that motherfucker, soothe it right away. You know what
Yeah.
I got to do now in order to soothe an itchy ass? You don't want to know about it. I'll tell you right now, you don't want to fucking know about
Well, I will say wet wipes helps, dude.
it. Well, dude, I'm you know I'm old enough to know about that, but I'm
Yeah,
saying the process we don't want
yeah,
to.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
fuck.
I didn't really get any much detail about the camping trip, dude. I mean, how was that? I know you did say you. I mean, it went smooth. You made some connections, dude. Had a couple drinks, but you know, how was the nature of it all? Uh,
It's good, dude. I mean, it's look, you know, right now the politics is a subject nobody wants to touch, and then everybody gets into because everybody's got strong opinions. And my opinion is we got to talk about it. So I'm just talking to these people, and people are getting real worked up, and I can get worked up from time to time. But make no mistake, I'm fucking furious, dude. And people are like, "Well, you're pretty calm about it." I said, "Well." You know, actually, you know, I am earth-shatteringly fucking furious at this time. But you know, it doesn't accomplish much. And honest to God, we got to live with these folks, and I sympathize with a great deal of their humanity, if not their fucking perspective. So, you know, living, dude. I'm trying not to get too confident with it because the only thing that I care about is the health and happiness and well-being of as many people that can enjoy such a thing as possible and you know that's my goal. You know, living is the purpose. I really care about it, but at the same time, like I you know, I'm not willing to fight too much verbally, you know, with people. I want to hear what they have to say and try to understand, but you know, I think they're fucking wrong. You know, just because I don't blame someone for being stupid or foolish or ignorant doesn't mean I can't hold someone accountable for being fucking wrong and hateful. You know, it doesn't mean I can't you know be upset with them for being so misaligned with the truth that you know they're willing to take it out on other folks. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. I'm not fucking required to like it. I'm required to treat them with respect and dignity as my fellow man, but I'm certainly not required to go along with it. And this is a mess, dude. You know. But anyway, there was a lot of that, and they're good folks, you know, and I love them a great deal. But there was a lot of that.
well, I think by the things we're doing, right? I mean, we talked about it earlier a little bit, talking about community and perspective. And so, having them even welcoming you to that event, and I mean, having the mind, because that's one thing I love about you. Yeah, you'll stay calm, and you roll with the punches, but you will voice, when you think something is incorrect. and give perspective, not just bashing a motherfucker down and like, yo, well, I disagree with you, and you know what I mean, you're fucked up, but giving them the opportunity to be educated, you know what I mean, because I think you're very knowledgeable, and so having that skill to say, hey, look at it this way, or actually, you're full of shit, but here's let me tell you why. You know what I mean? Here's the facts. You know, and I've given it, you know, a dedicated time and study and reading and having an open mind yourself as well. Um, to the point where it's like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good about, being a laid back, chill type of dude, and I think that's a factor of why we're good friends. But also, I get my moments where I want to crash the fuck out. You know what I mean? And so it's good to have community where you can someone can say, "Hey, you're crashing out, bro." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you're
And
getting
it's
a
like it's
little
not enough of
sloppy
it.
with it, sir.
Yeah, and it's not enough of it, right? Because everyone's walking on these eggshells, and they're like, "Well, I don't want this person upset with me, or I don't want my opinion to make this motherfucker not want to fuck with me, or whatever the case may be." And it's like, yo, how a lot of times, people, especially people of power, and successful people, they don't want a bunch of fucking yes men around them. They want a motherfucker to be able to pull them back and to grab the reins a little bit and say, "Hey, yo, dude, things was coming at you fast, right? You got a lot of motion, but you crashing out, or you fucking up, or you doing some shit that I don't think necessarily is something that you're giving enough thought." And then if it's time to go full on, dude, and crash the fuck out, so be it, because I think those can be healthy experiences too. I've
Oh,
had a lot of
amen.
good things come of a good crash out, right? But there's always a consequence, even when there's a reward. And so those times or those opportunities I had to maybe just be like, let's smoke another blunt. You know what I mean? Let's think about this. Let's go get a milkshake, and then see if I really want to fucking rip this motherfucker's head off. And then after you do that, and you have a person to share that with, and then you realize what's really important to you, you're like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Now, by all means, protect yourself, protect your families, right? But having somebody to speak to, or having a nice pod to listen to, or a nice book to read, any form of escape that can just let you, which is hard to do when you're alone, when you're by yourself. And that's why, I love that the pod is driving community, dude. We connecting people from all different walks of life. But you got to be able to have that. And, that folds right into what we were talking about, far as like moral ethics and shit, and trying to balance that and integrate that into personal ethics. Uh, and, ethically, you're supposed to have a balance of people who say, "Hey, you're fucking up, dude. You're heading down the road. This is because does angry really does it feel good? It's not an enjoyable thing, right? Your ass is all tight, your balls is getting bust. And usually when you get angry, right? Like you ever drive, right? And you're lost and you're trying to get directions. And then, you're so fucking frustrated. You end up driving yourself further away from the actual destination because you're like, fuck it. You know what I mean? You get all in that loop of
Oh yeah, dude,
frustration.
your foot hits that gas pedal. Mine does like a lead brick, dude. I'm like, let's move. I'm not even going in anymore. If I was going to the gas station, dude, and I was there and I got turned around and there's road work and construction and I get turned around at the light and then I make a wrong turn, someone fucking cuts me off. I'm not going to the gas station no more. I might not even stay in that same city that night. I'm gone,
Yeah,
dude.
fucking
And I
go.
don't mind. I don't mind. I'm not angry after I leave. I'm angry for about 10 minutes, but I am fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine probably riding with G or something on a long trip, and he's kind of like, "Hey, you know, people, those people, your grandparents or parents will try to coach you on driving. Do it this way, do it," and you're like, "Sit the fuck back and relax. Let me, you know what I mean? Let me listen to this fucking GPS thing. I got you talking. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
listen, boy, I played
Shit's
that game for
going
10
on.
fucking years. I played that game for 10 years. If a passenger driver say you need to slow down, you need to turn left, you need to use a fucking blinker, you need to fucking collect $200 and pass go. I said, this is what I'm going to do. If you'd like to drive, I will pull
Yeah.
over on the shoulder right now and you can drive. You have a driver's license, you're a grown man, you can drive the car. But this is what a motherfucker will do, and this is what a motherfucker won't do. You're in good fucking directions, dude. I will drive and I know how. Or I will not drive. I know how to be a passenger too. Fuck.
Man, so what do you think? I mean, I guess when you talk about morals, right? A lot of that I think is developed through family, right? Through community, right? Where you're raised, how you're raised. But at some point along life, you do draw yourself to your own perception of what's morally correct, and trying to apply that uh, in a time that is just unethical as fuck. I'm assuming that could be frustrating. It was just like sometimes where you see a guy or a younger person and they're like, being an asshole to some fucking elderly who's probably an elderly asshole, right? But you just feel it in your heart if if you have the same moral compass as I have. It's like, come on, dude, don't be fussing at the old lady. You know what I mean? Like, let her be an old goddamn lady and rant, and you just be, you know what I mean? Now, if she's a fucking Karen, she's pushing up on you, all over. Uh, our fucking neighbor, fuck that
Oh,
bitch. You know what
oh yeah. Now,
I
if you, this is what I believe. If you're an old person, you've earned the right to bitch. And honestly, if you get upset with them, all you have to do is ignore them. They can't catch you, dog.
mean?
You know what I mean? They're fine. Just let them
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
But if you're gonna throw a steaming pile of fucking miniature dog shit into my yard on a daily basis, we might have a more considerable issue. You know what I mean? There might be a more fucking significant, actionable problem at hand here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I got, you grew up, you went through the Catholic Church, Catholic school, and, I had a similar upbringing, growing up Christian and whatever. And, so I did draw some of my morals from there and my ethics from there. But once I saw people who I thought were pretty cool, pretty dope people, and, I got to experience their dopeness, dude, and see them uh, be pillars in my life and helping me along the way. And then even in some of my favorite books, right? You read a good book about a guy who's like stand up guy, and then you start to realize like, damn, you know, these simple golden rules, right? Of just understanding that, hey, respect another person, love another person. In this society, especially this economy, it's going to take a lot of self reflection, right? And a lot of understanding, which people I don't think are reflecting because we're absorbing this information so fast, at fucking light speed. You don't really have time to sit back until you know what I mean. You hit that fucking wall and everything's coming down, and you don't have anything else to do but do that. But I think there's ways that people could actually take more of that time. There should be National No Fucking Social Media Day. And I love my social media, being able to connect with my friends like you, our boy Zach, others who are far away. But that's not something you need every day. And I think having that time to just reflect can actually give these people or help people identify, moral principle, and then evaluate. Okay, what do I want? What do I think? Do I like this? Would I like to be treated this way? And most of the time, if you would like it, somebody else would like it or respect it. And I mean, that's how you find the balance there. I don't think you and I personally have ever really been like jerks or assholes where we just want to fuck with somebody just for fucking, for sake of fucking with them. But I know there are people out there like that, and a lot of times You would know this better than anyone because you have the background on the way the brain works and how that applies to the emotions. Most of the time, those people are hurting, right? Would you agree with that? And so when you're hurting, obviously you want other people to have a fucked up day because you fucking hate
Well,
yourself, you
well,
know?
it's. I mean, hurting is right. The most common thing, right? It's the bully mentality. It's the but oftentimes it's even deeper than that. It's a fundamental lack of empathy. You know what I mean? They just don't understand in a way that is serious and meaningful. They don't understand that other people hurt in a way that is they don't understand that causing other people pain is a bad thing legitimately. They think emotional pain or that whatever gratification they receive from inflicting such a you know from inflicting that is more important to them than the well-being of the people they're doing it to. I mean, and I think you're dealing with some really fundamental stuff about, like, when people experience fear or greed, and then they turn that around on someone else. That's obviously a travesty, and you're dealing with people who you know think in a certain way, certainly, but I don't think you can encapsulate all people who cause harm to other people under one umbrella, other than to say that, like, there is this lack of understanding that us all loving each other and working together is the most vital way for us all to experience happiness, to experience fulfillment, to be able to be our best as a species, as a society, as a nation, as a community, as individuals. The only way to be our best is for everyone to be their best, and the best way for that to happen is if we help each other rather than tearing each other down. And if you want to think about it like game theory, like that movie A Beautiful Mind, and I think, what was it, Nash, something, Stephen Nash or whatever. Anyway, you know if you want to think about it like that, or you want to think about it spiritually, or in terms of some sort of religious doctrine, that's fine. However you get there, it doesn't really much matter, as long as you learn that some of the most basic principles in this universe and of our own human experience is unity and harmony. And everything that's terrible flows away from those two most basic virtues, and everything wonderful flows toward them. And the more that you achieve things that are connected to those higher virtues in whatever aspect of life that you're attempting to accomplish something, the more likely you are to achieve success in that endeavor. And it doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, of a platonic variety, and across the board, acquaintances, work colleagues, whether it's achieving financial success in your life, or supporting your family, or learning about your community, or exploring a new hobby. Whatever you're doing, if you're being multiplicative and social and kind and generous, you're going to get further faster, you're going to do better. And the key too is to not even do it so that you're going to do better yourself. Although if that's what you need to get there, then get there. But it only gets better when you start doing it for the other people too, and not only for their satisfaction, but truly for your own. To know that teaching someone something and caring about someone in a meaningful way is one of the most satisfying things you could ever fucking do. As a person, that's just kind of how it is. I
Facts.
think that people who are assholes talk a lot about, well, why would you care when you can just, have more for yourself? That's the basic mentality. And it's like, well, actually, buddy, the more that you have for yourself in the terms that you're talking about, the less that you're going to be able to actually feel, because you're creating an environment where scarcity is non existent in terms of the things that bring you satisfaction. So you're not going to be able to achieve happiness, because no, the increasing amounts of material possessions or whatever are going to have like a inverse reciprocal relationship with how you get pleasure from them. So ultimately, you're going to be in a situation where you buy a $50 million yacht and it doesn't quite make you very happy for very long, and boy oh boy, then you're fucked because you got to reevaluate the entire thing to come back from hell at that point. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
you got to align yourself with some different values, and if you can do that when you don't have a bank account, well, then I think no amount of money can change you.
I agree. Um, and it's going to be a huge wake up call with that shit coming up, right? Because we see where the economy's doing. They're calling recession. And if you have an understanding or just the slightest, uh, it's something that I think we all could expect, right? Ever since the COVID, things went up, right? And they kind of stayed up. And there was a dip, but I think like people thought like, oh, everything's gonna go back to normal now because all the list is over. Well, what that did was show people, especially the system, and these big corporations, is that hey, these motherfuckers still need this shit, whatever the price is. So, we're gonna charge $4 for a dollar cheeseburger. Now, I haven't got into what these tariffs are going to mean and what countries are will be affected by it or not.
Oh, it's
Um,
across the board at this point.
oh, word.
Well, and
Was that the law
effectively,
passed?
well, what the consensus is right now is that largely, one of this thing, of course they want to dominate the news cycle, but another piece of it is that, what if they, purposely put on these tariffs so that they can buy when the stock market gets low like it is, and then when they negotiate away the tariffs over the next 10 months or next 6 to 8 months, which is likely going to be the case, they can negotiate them down in such a way that they can buy stocks along with their planning to do and make millions or billions or whatever. So, it could be just, that what is effectively insider trading of the most nefarious variety, which is, you know, false statementship, this bullshit that tariffs are going to somehow improve, our economic and social diplomatic relationships with these countries by evening the playing field. It's like, what do you mean even the playing field? It's like, what happened to the free market dictates. We already dominate in huge ways many countries, and yes, we have adversaries that are powerful and also enormous economic superpowers in China and so on. But like, this all this grandstanding and this tariff is manly shit. You got to demand what you're owed, and Jesus Christ. Well, that kind of thinking is gonna be, you know, it's gonna fuck us because that's ridiculous. It's just in every single possible way. Is that attitude just ridiculous?
Yeah, my sister, she hit me, and I guess she had read one of those headlines and was like, "Well, what do we do? How do we make it through this? Is this going to be, is this the end?" And I'm like, "Listen, these things will happen. You can basically guarantee they'll happen every, 2 terms or so, or whatever, 3 terms. But they're gonna happen. That's just the way it is. Uh, I think what most people could do right now is, hey, try to get some better skills. Try to pick up as much money. Make as much money as you can. There's a lot of opportunities for side gigs and freelance and shit. Get your budget shit down. Right now, I don't think it's a time to be worried about want more than need, right? So identify those needs and stick to, just the necessities for now. And there will be some opportunity. I do think it is going to be, I absolutely think that there's some fraudulent shit going on and there's going to be beneficiaries from this, right? But you can also take advantage of those opportunities too by just saying, hey, what are some of the industries that we know are essential that may or may dominate this situation or at least stay above the curve. And so you think about healthcare, you think about uh, affordable housing. These places who are like huge on discount where you can buy shit in bulk, shit like that, discount places. Those are going to be the moves to be like, all right, and you don't have to invest much, right? But if you want to have a savings, you want to have your little nest egg, your emergency fund, what have you. But right now, I think it's just like, don't go out buying boats and cars and vacation homes and shit you're gonna sell. Soon as shit gets tight, because all you would be doing then is playing into the market, right? Right now, we've got the wide web. You can research this shit, and you can turn some of these challenges into opportunities. You know what I mean? And we're never going to be able to fuck them back, right? The way that they're fucking the fucking people. But we can, make a few crumbs, and just stand even kill, right? Stand above water is a win
Well, I agree
because
with you, but
you
never
know,
say never, bro. I mean, I
yeah.
agree with you, but
Well,
never
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
never
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. Well,
here's the
yeah.
deal. Like, if they can say the quiet part out loud about treating people like shit and we're really in it for the money and fuck it, then I'll say the quiet part out loud too. I love to fucking crawl up inside the system and I'll piss directly in somebody's cornflakes. I don't give a fuck. And if they're like, "Oh boy, you what an asshole! How dare you come for what's mine?" I'm like, "Well, actually, this world belongs to all of us, and just because you decided to hoard it and create some kind of capitalist system that feeds it directly into your gullet doesn't mean I have to tolerate it, dude." I'm really on. I don't know.
No, yeah,
Robin
yeah. You
Hood.
gotta
Robin
fuck the
Hood was
bear.
onto something, maybe. You know what I
He
mean?
was, bro. He was. Because it's more of us than them, right? And they don't want us out there with sticks and what I mean, guns ablazing. And you just don't have enough. Yeah, you could put a lot of us in these camps and all this shit, and what I mean, fuck us over. There'll be a lot of Judases out there who will take the buyout and be like, you know what, fuck it, let's fuck the people over.
Oh,
But
it's
you gotta
tempting,
feed us, you
dude.
gotta house us, dude. You're not gonna be able to last. You don't want us coming to your goddamn islands and your goddamn beach houses, fucking your shit up. You know what I mean? Dipping into your quaaludes and shit. You know what I mean? So they
God damn it!
they
If you could come across a lemon this day, it might be the greatest experience of all time. But let me say this, dude. They don't want us out there like that because I mean the Judas play is what's going on all the time, right? That's like, okay, can we buy this person off who would change the world? They do it all the time in order to
yeah
incorporate it into the existing infrastructure and have it not exist for the people in a way that would make sense. And there are very few people willing, especially in the tech sector, to make their stuff open source and just let it ride. Because they know that there's $1 billion to be made if they got their hands on something special, an idea, an infrastructure, a piece of technology, a code language and innovation. But what I would say too is like, for me, the bedrock is love. Fuck the rest of it. I'm made of the stuff. They can't stop me, dude. And like you say, we can't really hurt them like they hurt us. There's too much pain down the river. I mean, there's blood in this river, dude, and I don't have any delusion about that. This is a big deal, and these people are fucked, and I really feel bad about it, and I know that no amount of words, no amount of making it right is going to change the fact that people have suffered due to this bullshit in so many inexplicable ways. I never forget that, dude. But at the same time, we have to be hopeful. We have to yearn for tomorrow. For our own sake, for the sake of the future of humanity, for our own communities. But I mean, for the fucking kids, we got to be hopeful, and we got to fight for some shit, and we got to stand for some shit. And for the kids, if for anything else, they don't deserve it. We didn't deserve it when we were kids. We don't deserve it now, but they sure as shit don't deserve it.
absolutely, dude. And we gotta. I mean, we got enough. They say all it takes is one. But I do truly believe that our small group of friends, right? You, myself, the nicest of the world, right? Seb, all of our guys, we're all like minded, and we might be the pioneers of it. We might have to be the ones boots on the ground, but I think we could make a difference, even a small one, right? I mean, we talked about lyric, and we're
Oh, I
gonna,
guarantee we'll make a small one. Yeah, I
yeah,
guarantee that
yeah,
much.
yeah. And so, who's to know? Maybe lyric, or what I mean, little bees. I mean, little Joshy, what have you, whatever little huffers we got on the horizon. One of them are going to be able to see that and maybe draw from that the inspiration to be like, all right, it's me, I'm up. What I mean, I got to keep on pushing the needle. These are the values that we pass down, not just to the family, but now we're doing it over the airwaves, where all of this information is free. We don't charge for this podcast. And I want to get to a place where we never will. Obviously, there will be things that you in production that we'll have to expense, but this is free game, right? And this is the gift. I mean, at least it doesn't cost you cash. All that I ask is that when you do take this information and you receive it with open arms. And if something may not be for you, share it. Uh, take what you grab from it. Respond to us. We're going to set up those ways for them to email us and things like that. But we want the stories because it's the stories that has molded us and got us to this point. You know what I mean? And we have hundreds of our own, and then there's so many out there that are similar, but from a different vantage point. No one person has the eyes of the other, and so the things that people have seen and made it through and overcome, I think, should be shared. Especially when we're trying to do what we say, we're trying to provide a path for what's to come, right? Because we got a due date, right? And we're gonna expire one day, but while we're here, the enjoyment of it is like we get to experience this beautiful thing called life, and share it and make moments and put smiles on faces and feel tears and feel the joy after it. And it's a beautiful experience, right? It's something nobody has figured out how to gift it, or you can't buy it. It's just a gift that you receive and you share it, and life goes on, and we get better, and we hope to get better. So that's why I'm glad that we got this shit rolling, bro, and it's dope. You know what I'm saying?
To be a
And
storyteller is to know the world, dude. We live stories. They aren't just words. They shape our lives, dude. They in a way that I think that so many people do recognize, because when you live a story, it becomes a memory, dude, and you can call back that feeling of, that first warm light of the sun at dawn, on your face, or the gentle dew, under your feet. And I don't know, whatever you can do to live and breathe in the moment, to be present, to accept the gift that you're being offered. This thing here can be the greatest burden in your life. It can be, life itself can feel like the weight of the world directly bearing down on your spirit alone. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can be an opportunity. That same weight can f- lift you up. You just have to realign your spirit. And I say just, and there's no just about it. It changes everything. Just invert yourself to understand that pressure as the warm embrace of the universe around you. It loves you, dude. If I can, I may be a lunatic, but I'd rather be crazy than sane. Based on a lot of the shit that I'm seeing, it's like, the world doesn't mean to hurt you. It doesn't mean to cause you pain. It doesn't mean to generate suffering in your life. 90% or more of our suffering is caused by us being mean to each other anyway. The natural world is trying to give us the gift of life, dude. The ability to choose, the ability to understand and experience, to see, to love one another, to understand one another, to have fun, to suffer in the ways that matter. And it hurts. But it's literally everything. So I don't know why people are so upset. I mean, I know
they
why
don't
they're
have
upset.
they don't have shit. Yeah, they don't have shit to compare it to, right? Because Motherfuckers are dumbing it down and getting caught up in the hype, right? But some of the best times I've had, dude, is right there in the trenches, where you don't got much, you and your buddy, you're trying to go in, scrape together a few bucks to get a pizza, dude. I mean, we've been through that several times, dude. But that's a meal that it's a struggle meal, and you're like, fuck, dude. I remember we were eating crust, but you're like, hey, you rather eat crust with your buddy, dude. You know what I mean? And to be
Hey,
to be out there.
if we can split one fucking crusty ass dusty nug in a bowl pack and split three pieces of pizza, I'd rather do that with you, buddy, than have caviar alone. That's always going to be the case. You know what I mean? And like that's the ticket, right? Is like, okay, we would all rather do this thing together. That's how we're wired. That's how we're made. I believe it's even deeper than that. I believe it's even more than that. And I believe it's impossible to circumscribe how connected everything is. And so, since there are no words for it, and that's what we're doing, why can't we just agree to, why can't we just agree to have a little more fun, to love each other a little bit more? That's the ticket. We need to want to do it together because that is what we really want. But can we admit that? Do we have the courage for that?
True words, man. What's some new music you've been rocking with, dude?
Dude, I'll say that I've been kind of on a tear with some good shit, I think. Obviously, like, I know this has been out for a while, but I'm big into this Dochi thing, dude. I really like that song, Anxiety, that she's got. I like that. And I know it's popular, but I go in for that. Now, Grizz recently dropped a new album. I think it's all good. Till the Color Fades and Found Your Love are really good off that one. Listening to some of that EDM shit just gets really really. Uh, it seems like a lot of it drops at once. There's a lot here there, but I like that white rapper Prof. I think he does pretty good. Have you heard any of his music?
I don't think so. I know my boy Brian Crow. He's into it, so he might have played the guy, and I just didn't know because sometimes we at work we're rocking out. I'll hop on aux, he'll hop on aux, and but I would have to hear the song again to catch it. What I will say is the EDM, dude. I just when I listen to it, I just get in that zone of like trying to let that music flow through me, dude, and just be like, damn, this is something that you can play, put on, and go through all the scale of emotions, right? But it's gonna still keep you moving, right? Even if you're moving, through a sad moment or you're like, fuck everything, you're angry, but it gets you moving, it gets the heart pumping, and I think that's a natural way of changing your mood. So I do enjoy a lot of their mixes, um, but I haven't heard this Prof guy.
Well, he's more on the rap side, so I think when we wrap up tonight, we should have a short Spotify sesh, dude. I think we should do that.
Hell yeah. I'm looking at some shit now that I've been listening to. I've been on the R&B wave. I've been listening to Friday's album. Really love Alex Isley. Uh, she's really good. Uh, Mayo, and I really
I need you
like.
to play all that for me, dude. If you got the time tonight, really, I'd like to hear all of it before we
Hell
go to
yeah,
bed.
hell yeah. I'm trying to see where can I. Do we? You want to start a session? And let me read down because I am a full disclaimer. I tried to make a new account so I can get another trial, sir.
I think that's perfect, dude. I love and respect that about you. Let's start a session. I can play it off my headphone, off my earpods, and then like have what I'm saying, like do this without it playing across, and we can talk through it, kinda, and keep the
Yeah.
pod going, or we could stop the pod and do that, whatever you think.
No, yeah. I think that sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna log into my new account here, and then I'm gonna see if you can just that way I can search, add stuff to the queue as we listen.
You
And
know what? I don't want anybody to mistake this too. I'm gonna take a fat ass stab, and if anybody has a problem, like, oh, I can't listen to this guy, because he takes dabs, this just isn't the podcast for you. I'm afraid. Might not be the
yeah.
one. How do you think I'm supposed to maintain a positive attitude? You know what I mean? In this fucking economy, dude.
Well, honestly, they still might be giving it to me because what they're saying right now is we can't.
Oh, let me invite you to my jam.
Oh, that's on the share play side. Okay, let me see. Leave the share play. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Now look on your go on your Spotify here. Let me see if I can.
Wait, let me do this.
Oh yeah, just text me the link like you did last time, and I'll join your jam straight from the Spotify app.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I think we get it. How's that? You got this link, my boy?
Yeah. All right, let's see. Boom.
Oh, I'm so ready to jam. I
Oh,
got this.
it says the host ended the jam.
Oh, what? Let me look. All right. Fuck, man. Why is it so hard? So
Oh,
hard.
here, number one.
All right,
Got there
now I got.
first. Yeah, man. I might play some Kelly Rowland, some Beyonce.
Just wait for Kate Upton to drop the track. Sir, number one.
Number one.
All right, you
Here.
probably need to start it because this is bullshit. Or I need to. No, I'm gonna try one more thing and then start it.
Gary
Share
Wilson.
Spotify.
And Nicki Minaj.
There we go.
Rihanna.
Here.
Okay, let's see. That's a share play,
Yeah. Is that
but
okay?
I can't add. Yeah, well, I can't add. I can't put songs in queue on your share play.
Let me send you another
We'd have.
link then. Let's try that again.
Yeah,
I love this track.
yeah. Start that jam and then
I sent you a new link.
bet. Oh yeah. Listen on this iPhone. Yep. Okay, let's get it. Oh, I don't know who made this original beat, but I always love this beat. Isn't
it's
this
all. It's somebody I used to know by that
Oh
Goody
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, exactly. This is a bop though.
Yeah, dude. She just gets into it. She's grooving. I love it, dude. And I think she really understands it, dude. It's like that, she understands that boot bap. She understands all of it. I'm into it.
Oh yeah, I love Doechii, dude. I mean, she hit the ground and she just put her foot on the gas. Dude. I love her work, dude. I think she won a couple of awards this year.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I love this track, man. And I got one. I want to show you that prof guy next, and then add to the queue, my friend.
Word.
If you want to listen along, it's "Anxiety" by Doechii. It's a popular song. Find it. It's on Spotify. It's on whatever you want to find it on. Jesus, today there's more choices than anything else. Play that shit.
And you know what I love about this? Is she didn't fuck up the song. You know, you hear somebody sample
No, she
somebody's
enhanced
music,
it, dude.
and
Yeah,
you're just like, ah, he fucked it up.
the best
And
part's
it's like,
coming up, I
okay.
think. I think she really hit that well, dude. I mean, it just fits into the melody so well. Those vocals just lay right across.
It's dope as fuck, bro.
Fire Lessons by Prof. I just like the way he changes it up so much too.
Dude, we got a fire flow.
You can still catch these hands. It doesn't matter who you
Mhm.
are. You billionaire, the poorest man in the world. Catch these
Okay. I'm looking at his his page.
hands.
He got some big hitters up here. Track
Squad
with
Goals
Kevin
is a good
Gates on
one,
here.
dude. Yeah, what is that? Devil's Gate with Kevin Gates in it.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah, dude, I'm big into all of it. Dude, that Leon Thomas stuff stays with me. I love it.
Oh yeah. He in my rotation every day, bro. He got a remix with Coco Jones. I've been listening to the remix to Mutt with Chris Brown. Breezy killed that.
You should add that to the queue, bro.
Yeah, let me put that on here. Because that's one that I've been fucking with every day, honestly. Breezy is just so.
Yeah, I wish he didn't hit women, dude. He'd be a perfect man. I love that.
Yeah, he's talented, brother, man.
It's that thing that just makes him hard to swallow.
Uh-huh. And then I got one more on that. This is Friday. And Kehlani is dope.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
say that
that
title
bass
again one
line.
more time for me. Yeah, yeah.
Saving My Love. This is on Friday's album. Just came out like the last one, I think.
Number one. Fucking good.
Featuring Kehlani. And she just rides the beat crazy, like owns the track. I would be scared to do a feature with Kehlani because she just own it.
Oh, here it is.
No, it's not wrong.
Wrong. You mean wrong?
Yeah, man. I love kissing a bad bitch goodnight. You know what I'm talking
Oh, try, dude. Try to give
about?
it a
What?
go, dude. It don't even matter too much if she's bad, but I prefer it, dude.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that bass line, dude, it does it. It does it right. Oh, what's Dot up to, dude? You talk to him at all?
Yeah,
So I know
he's
you setting
actually
up that
working with me
concert.
on this project. Yeah, we wanted to do a concert. I mean, it's definitely be a booster, right? Put some cash in our pockets. But I think it'd also be good for the, you know what I mean, for the town, for the bar scene to have something else and then bring this artist and have it go smoothly. Because I was looking at what they did for Fall Fest last year. They had fucking Young Gravy on there. And I'm like, this motherfucker's throwing bottles of water and ho hos and shit. And I get it, like you want to have like a family friendly troll or some trendy shit, but you pay this dude, you know what I mean, fucking 50, 100 grand to come out here and humiliate music. I mean, the music was horrible. But yeah, I want to do this concert and also to maybe open some doors up for us to do like a live pod there. And if Doc's gonna be, hanging out for a couple of days, dude, from what he said, is he's able to record remotely essentially now. So just to be able to jam out, but he's doing good. Uh, what I mean, Dot is he's the blueprint when you're talking about staying out the way and just sitting back and letting and letting shit fall out. I mean,
We're gonna
it
see.
weathers the
We're gonna
storm.
see and find out.
Weather the storm. Now this is one of them jams, right, that my mom would play on a Saturday morning, when it's time to clean. We always start with breakfast, right? Some eggs, some ground sausage, patty it up,
You gotta stop
definitely
talking
some
about food
grits.
while I'm this fucking jam. I just hit that
Oh
pen about
man.
5 times. Now I need you to tell me what the name of the song is.
This is While I'm Alone by the great Frankie Beverly and Mays, dude. Rest in peace, Frankie Beverly, man.
Rest in
Uh,
paradise, my
and all
friend.
these dudes played this. Oh my god, they played all the instruments, all original music, all vocal performances. I mean, one of the greatest bands of all time. You know, Frankie is the lead singer, but
This
uh,
feels like a mix between Jimmy Buffett, the Beach Boys, and fucking BB King or something.
man, this is that like good driving music. And then you remember that commercial? It was a commercial who used this little bridge right here. I can't remember what it was, but I just remember hearing that jingle on one of those commercials. But they've done so much for the industry, man, for music. Um, Truly, truly great artists, man. And watching them perform live and watching some of their videos, they're just in the zone, dude. I mean, bunch of brothers who got together. It's like, yo, we gonna jam this shit, but really, I mean, they know this shit to the T. Uh, And that's what happens when you study. You know what I mean? You study something you love to do, it becomes effortless, and you just want to divulge into every aspect of it. Um, but this right here, it brings back those memories, dude. And I'm just like, what the fuck are they using? Tambourines, motherfucking, fucking maracas. I don't know, dude. They're making all this music using these instruments right there in studio, and it's fucking dope, bro.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I can't wait to.
Definitely a good dab track. You know,
Oh
you just
shit!
imagine walking to a room and then just what I mean, butt naked chick just walks up and hands you a plate of dabs of your choice, and this is playing in the background, dude. You're like, yo, give me a
That's
juice
life, dude.
box,
That's
give me a
paradise right
fucking
there.
Capri Sun, dude. Get
You
on the
telling me you're gonna
couch.
give me a juice to box and you're gonna suck my dick at the same time, dude? Oh my god.
And right, you put the thing down, right? You get with a lady. These, music is a soundtrack in many ways where sometimes shit don't work out right. But I'm telling you, that chick will hear that song and be like, "Oh shit, he played this. We played this when we drove down to such and such, or this was on his fucking love making playlist, dude. I got my guts beat out to this track, and the track comes on, dude, and it takes you into a frenzy, dude."
Number one. A frenzy, dude. Here's Chris Brown on Mutt, a remix. And we're gonna see how it goes. Chris Brown doesn't disappoint musically though. Not me off. And here it goes.
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he took this track, right? And it makes it sound like he's like, oh, it doesn't sound like he's giving in because he's calling himself a fucking dog. But he's like, look, I'm finna let go. I'm finna be vulnerable and see where this can go.
Well, I want to
And I
give
can
in to my
identify with that.
love and attraction to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give in to it, and that's it. I see it, dude. I mean, say you gotta listen to. You gotta actually listen to it. I feel like people don't appreciate the artistry. That's what goes so deep about an artist like him. Is like he's not. You know, you can go the T Pain route, but even T Pain got deep. You just gotta you gotta listen to the music. You can't just hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's gonna be the instrument, sometimes it's gonna be the lyrics. Uh but it's like almost instantaneous. Good music. You know what I mean? When you feel it. And it's like, I get with some of the newer shit and I can see how this generation is identifying with it. However, when I break down some of the biggest hits or some of the shit that's on the charts or shit that resonates for long periods of time, it's people drawing these influences from this timeless music where they didn't cheat it. You know what I mean? And so I'm grateful that I didn't even have to do that with my talent. I want to use it more. I want to share it. I want to gift it. I want to get comfortable with doing that, and I want to navigate how to do that without exposing my entire life away from the music. I don't mind having these conversations musically, putting it on a track, But I'm not just a huge fan of the industry. But I don't think I could live with the regret of cheating music and just becoming a part of some systematic, you know, oh, let's just make something that's trendy. Let's talk about this. It's like, even when I was doing fucked up shit, I was doing it because I was fucked up and I felt fucked up. And you know what I mean? It wasn't because I wanted,
Well, and circumstances were fucked
kids
up.
to
Let's
do
not forget it.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
not forget it. Circumstances are
Yeah.
fucked up, and let's also remember, dude, that we're young. We've got so much life left, so many opportunities to contribute in ways that are meaningful to us. Just don't sign a contract. Fuck these motherfuckers. If people want to listen, we'll try to get it out there as best we can. And if someone says, "Oh, we'll distribute it if you do say a little bit of the stuff we want to say," it's like, well, if you're talking about editorial fucking approval, you can kiss the fattest part of my ass. And I like I say, no one may ever listen to this but our friends and community, and that's fine. I don't care. But if people do listen, I hope they know that we're at least that they know we're authentic motherfuckers. That's the bottom of the barrel with us, dude. So I don't.
Facts. And this last track, this is Seven Streeter. This is my last one on the queue, but Seven Streeter, great songwriter, R&B artist, and it was good to hear some new music from her. This one is called Taboo,
Yeah, Seven
and
Streeter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's dope, man. And she's another one who I enjoy just for her artistry. And it's hard to compete in this industry as a woman, an R&B artist. So, they don't promote her shit a lot, but she writes for a lot of people.
Why can't I mean I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. It's a good track, man.
And that's very like Brandy esque. Brandy would do that with her. She would stack her vocals like that, the ad libs there, the background. But it's angelic, dude. I mean,
Oh, I love that little bit of like the falling rain in the background, dude.
yeah, it makes you feel like you know what I mean. You right there in the car. You know what I mean? Wrapped up in your feelings. And I think that's why people always fucking rag on my playlist, bro, because they're like, I don't want to be in my feelings right now, bro. And
No,
I'm
that's
like,
why I love your playlist. That's why I love your playlist. This is some of that EDM shit I think you'll like. Just bring the mood up a bit. Grizz, Found Your Love. It's a new
okay,
album. It's good.
word.
I want to be a DJ so fucking bad.
I think you
Just
could do
on
it,
the
bro. I think
radio,
you could
some
kill
disc
it.
jockey shit for real.
You know what I mean? I think you'll love it, dude. You're up there feeling the shit, you know what I mean? Lights is out, and you can just watch the crowd respond to your mix, dude. Cause I love to see you, dude. I'll be right there in the booth with you getting fucked up.
Oh, that's when we're giving shots around, dude. No,
Yeah.
yeah, no question. None of that work bullshit. This is work and play. I love the big band nature of it. He uses a lot of like trumpets, saxophones, horns. I love that, and I love feeling like I'm listening to like Fleetwood Mac or like I don't know, is someone like that, and just like it's not.
Yeah, they groove.
It's
That
yeah.
groove, man.
And the more you get into music like this, the more you realize like you do have to be economical with the shit. You can't just bust it out every time that you want to feel a little bit better. I mean, you can, but you'll wear it the fuck out. You really got to save it when you need boosted up. Like, my God, I need to dig out some shit from my spirit right now to have a good time, to remember that I'm alive. I mean, dig it out for that, and then if you want to party, that's cool. You know what I mean? Always do that. But when if you're going to use it on the inspiration side, use it economically, dude.
Fact. I'm gonna try to get a dub here before we go to bed, bro.
Try to get what?
Try to get us a dub going. After this track, let's wrap up the stream, run some matches before you go down.
Yeah. I mean, we can go ahead and wrap up the broadcast and say, hey, man, check us out. Thanks for listening. You find us on, I'll post updates on Twitter. I guess it's X now, whatever the fuck. It's the only thing, but whatever. I don't give
Right.
a shit. I'll post mostly. I'll be posting updates on YouTube, and we'll be on YouTube. We'll be on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, all that shit. I'm trying to figure it out, dude. It should already be up in most places. So just keep a look at it. It's capital J ampersand low. So J and low like that.
Number one, this is episode 1 plus 1 plus 1. Episode 3, dude. Good episode. Always a pleasure. You and I, we can sit here and yap forever, but it's good to put it on wax. And I hope the listener enjoys it. And, love to hear thoughts, feedback, some of the topics. You might have a different perspective on, different opinion on, or just some information you want to share with other listeners. You know, there'll be ways to reach out to us and get that to us. And we'll make sure it gets in the right hands. Or sometimes we'll even talk about some of the things, some of the emails we get. Um, and, bring light to some things that you, as the listener, think is important. And I'm nice and fucking frizzle. So now I don't have to get pissed the fuck off when one of these motherfuckers kills me with a goddamn Tommy gun.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hit a few more dabs. So I'm gonna play the chillest Fortnite ever, dude. We'll wrap it up. Number one.
One.